nice to see you.
It is nice to be seen, Diva. Yes, it is. It is crack of early morn. It is good to be seen.
I mean, I have to say, it's amazing to be in human contact again. This is, the first time I'm doing press and seeing old friends, so I'm so happy to see you.
Absolutely, and ditto, same here. I just wanted to. I promise I have a point with this when I start talking. So you won't be like, where is she going? Okay, so so I wanted to say, I've been wanting to say this to you for quite some time. I think you are absolutely wonderful for a variety of reasons, but particularly because of this. I had just had knee surgery and was at LACMA watching the Malala documentary with my mom, and I ran into you. And you sat and talked, you were on a date night with your son. And you sat and talked to me and my mom for a really long time. And I'll never forget how gracious and kind and thoughtful you were that evening. And I've been wanting to tell you that for quite
Oh,
some time. So now I've had my opportunity.
bless you. That means so much to me. And I remember it. I remember our conversation. And I remember that night, of course, as we all did, seeing that film. And Davis Guggenheim, who made the movie, and I haven't seen since, I just ran into in the streets of New York last week. So it's a
Wow.
it's a full circle to see you both in one week, and very beautiful to be with your mom while I was with my son. How lovely.
Yes. Okay. And now on with the show. So I'm calling summer of 2022 the nostalgic summer of blockbusters because there are a lot of films that we loved the first time around that are having franchise sequels to the original films, like Mission Impossible, Top Gun, and now Jurassic. And usually in these blockbuster films, the men are holding everything down and the girls are just like, "Oh, please help me." But you and Bryce and DeWanda are holding it down. What does it feel like to be in the franchise 20 years later with that kind of spin on it?
It feels amazing, and as we all remember, I was the only woman there the first round. So to watch the franchise evolve and see these powerful women, on either side of me as we came back together has been incredible. But also, it speaks to the franchise that in its origin story, embedded in it, not to try to be current, this franchise was built on a female character from the book who is a doctor and an equal to the men. And when everything goes down and even men are injured, she's like, "You guys take care of yourselves. I'm going to go save us." And by herself, saves the day and has, very lucky for me to get to have said them, rather iconic feminist lines. And it was 1993, and there had been very few women in the action genre that were holding their own in that way. So I felt so proud of getting to play Ellie Sattler in the first time and having Steven Spielberg guide that kind of female character, her no nonsense look in the film, her irreverence, but also to watch the franchise grow, as you mentioned, with these extraordinary women.
I loved it. I did. I got my entire life watching it. I really, really did. And what I also loved this time around is, it always cracks me up when there is an age difference between two characters, male and female. They make such a big deal out of it when they don't make as much of a deal out of it when it's a man and a woman. Usually they don't. And when it's the woman that's 20 years older than the dude, we get called cougars. Like, really
Yeah,
though?
yeah.
Why do
Oh,
we
of
have a name
course.
and they don't? I just
And
want to know your thoughts about that.
well, let's be clear. When I made the first movie, nobody was talking about it
That part.
because every movie we were the leading lady to a man 20 years older than us. So it's only in this press junket that the conversation's even being had, which is great news. Um, Lucky for me that it's the most dashing, charming leading man possible, being Sam Neill. And we've been, those of us who love the original story, longing to know what might happen to Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler if they ever met again. So that's all lovely. but you're absolutely right. It's about time to change the narrative when it comes to it turning around. And I'm currently filming a movie, and my leading man is the ever lovely Liam Hemsworth, and we're working on that at this very moment.
I
So
love
I
that.
and there's no conversation about age. It's just two people meeting. So may we see more and more of that, because yes, you're right. They're like, we don't know what to do this. I guess we need to give her a label. But for this franchise, I think it's evolved, and we've all evolved with it, even in being current and having conversations that need to be had.
Now, as playing Ellie and being this expert in the dinosaur realm, as I'll say, what was the hardest terminology that you had to learn in the process? Because girl, some of those names, by the time you get to Rex, you're like, phew.
I know. You're not kidding. I mean, how Dimetrodon is easy for me, I don't know. But poor Colin Trevorrow, our director, every time I would arrive on set, I'm like, the Gigantosaurus. He's like, it's a Giganotosaurus. I've told you this 3 times. He had to remind me, it is Giganotosaurus, just for us all to know. But he was and is so incredibly generous in when Steven Spielberg first mentioned the idea of me coming back, and Frank Marshall, and then Colin and I sat to talk about who she would be today. As you mentioned, in her expertise of paleontology, how would she evolve? And being the feminist that she was for us in 1993, where would she be as a woman in science, as an independent woman in her life, so that she stands to the things we expect of her? And I love that they were very committed and collaborative to allow me in the conversation, that we really wanted her to be focused on climate change and be a soil scientist, which makes a lot of sense if your study has been how the last extinction happened, to do anything to avoid another. And I hope her expertise and interest in the storyline that my character follows will get this next generation of dinosaur-loving movie fans talking about our food and our soil, and how we can peacefully coexist and learn to take care of each other, which we haven't been looking out for each other as we deserve and must. So I hope these conversations will just be added to what we should all be talking about at dinner every night.
I absolutely concur. Laura Dern, you are such a smart, savvy doll. It has been my pleasure to have this conversation with you. Thank you so much for giving me a little bit of your time today. I
Oh,
cannot begin to tell you how much it means.
thank you so much. What a pleasure and privilege for me. And I hope I get to see you in person and soon.
Ditto.
All right. Lots of love.